Did you know one man personally executed over 22,000 people, and the Soviet government considered him an outstanding employee? His name was Vasily Blokhin. He was a general in the NKVD, Stalin's secret police, and for decades, killing was simply his job. In the spring of 1940, Blokhin was sent to a prison in western Russia called Kalinin. His task was to eliminate the Polish officer corps, generals, doctors, professors, men who had been taken prisoner during the Soviet invasion of Poland. He brought his own equipment, a leather butcher's apron, leather gloves that reached his elbows, a German pistol he preferred for its reliability. Every night for 28 consecutive nights, he walked into a soundproof basement and shot men in the back of the head, one after another, around 250 per night. It was called the Katyn Massacre. Blokhin received a performance bonus and a vodka ration. After Stalin died, the work stopped. The state no longer needed him. He drank himself to death by 1955. The horror was never in the man. It was in the paperwork that authorized him. Did you know the closest the world ever came to nuclear war wasn't a crisis anyone knew about until it was already over? November 1983. NATO launched a military exercise called Able Archer. It was a simulation, a rehearsal for nuclear war, meant to test communication and command systems across Europe. But Soviet intelligence didn't see a drill. They saw the real thing. The Soviets had been watching the West for months, convinced that America was planning a first strike. When Able Archer began, their early warning systems started flashing. Coded messages, radio silence, troop movements that matched their worst fears. Soviet nuclear forces moved to high alert. Pilots sat in armed aircraft, waiting for the launch order. The West had no idea. It wasn't until years later, through a Soviet double agent named Oleg Gordievsky, that the full picture came out. He had watched it happen from the inside. The world had come within a breath of nuclear war. Not because of a threat, because of a rehearsal that the other side thought was real. Did you know a 17-year-old boy almost caused a nuclear disaster in his mom's backyard? His name was David Hahn. It was 1994. He lived in a quiet suburb outside Detroit, Michigan. David wanted to earn a Boy Scout merit badge in atomic energy, so he started building a nuclear reactor in a garden shed. He wasn't a genius with special access. He was just a determined kid with a library card and a lot of nerve. He wrote letters to government agencies, pretending to be a physics professor. They wrote back. He ordered radioactive materials through the mail. Companies sent them. Nobody checked. Nobody questioned him. He stripped smoke detectors for americium. He collected lantern mantles for thorium. He built a neutron source that was actually working. By the time police found it, radiation levels near the shed were 1,000 times higher than normal. The EPA suited up in hazmat gear and declared the neighborhood a Superfund cleanup site. A teenager had contaminated a suburb of America, chasing a merit badge. The scariest part is how easy it was. Did you know there's a former bioweapons testing site in Central Asia that anyone can now drive to? It's called Vozrozhdeniya Island. During the Cold War, Soviet scientists used it as an open-air laboratory for some of the most dangerous pathogens ever engineered. Anthrax, plague, smallpox. They didn't just study these diseases. They field-tested them on live subjects. The island sat in the middle of the Aral Sea, remote enough to keep the work secret from the rest of the world. Then the USSR collapsed in 1991. The scientists left fast. The buried stockpiles were never properly destroyed. And then something no one planned for happened. The Aral Sea started drying up. Decade by decade, the water pulled back. By the early 2000s, the island had fused with the mainland shore. No boat required, just a road through the desert. Anthrax spores can survive in soil for over 100 years. The graves are still there. The contamination is still there. The world just mostly decided not to talk about it. Did you know one man is responsible for both feeding half the world and helping invent chemical warfare? His name was Fritz Haber. In the early 1900s, he cracked one of the hardest problems in science. He figured out how to pull nitrogen from the air and turn it into fertilizer. That discovery changed everything. Today, roughly half the food on Earth exists because of what he built. Billions of people are alive because of Fritz Haber. Then the war came. Haber believed in Germany with everything he had, so he turned his mind toward killing. He developed chlorine gas as a weapon and personally stood on the battlefield at Ypres in 1915 to watch it work. Thousands of soldiers suffocated in the mud. That same night, his wife Clara, also a chemist, walked into their garden and shot herself with his military pistol. She left behind a 9-year-old son who found her body. His research was later used to create Zyklon B, the gas used in Nazi death camps. The same mind, the same science. Two completely opposite ends of what humans are capable of.